Very good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, tech professionals and pioneers of the future. It's my pleasure and honor to be here by invitation of the organizer for BYTES Singapore, right? With great excitement and participations that we convey here, uniting brilliant minds from all corners of the globe to explore the frontiers of AI and data transformation. Before we delve into the exciting program that awaits us, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and to our dedicated organizer today, whose unwavering commitment has brought this event to fruition. So I'm going to share three parts of my speech, right? Primarily is going to be talking about the trends of AI in 2023, and also the journey of the chamber in primarily AI and data transformation, and finally, how do we define talents in a digital world, right? So to start off with, I'm very sure that a lot of people has been talking about ChatGPT, although AI technology has been around, around the globe for many years, but ChatGPT is one of the very forefront in the recent, months, especially, to be extremely popular with a lot of organizations. They have actually opened path to many traditional organizations, as we have seen, right? To get to know what generative AI or per se AI is all really about. Okay, so as we were to look at a lot of companies in the recent last 12 months, companies are started to do a lot of transformation, getting to understand what technology, especially in the AI space, data transformation is all about, especially in the SME space, right? So that's what I think generally the generative AI has contributed enormously, right, in the space of the AI, kind of digital space. Second, there are also a lot of talks about augmented AI, right? Augmented AI in organization has been rapidly integrating a lot of enabled automation with people, okay, within workplace processes, society systems in a very complex and evolving challenges. I've categorized AI, the systems application, into three categories. The first category is cognitive process automation, automation of a lot of back office, administrative, and finance activities. As you can see, a lot of such providers are in the hall, behind us, right? And of course, activities like the recent popular RPA, robotic process automation. I have seen in the recent months that a lot of accounting firms especially started to embark on the RPA process, eliminating a lot of manual kind of work, right? To speed up the process, saving time and saving a lot of effort. So there are also the second category, which is cognitive insights. Okay, detecting a lot of patterns in data and interpreting their meaning using statistically based machine learning algorithm. That's also what is happening in the space. And of course, lastly, cognitive engagement, right? Engaging employees or customers using natural language processing chatbots. So has been very extremely popular. The last 2 weeks especially, I was talking to some telecommunication companies in Philippines. They are actually quite excited to launch and wanted to launch a very suitable chatbot application within the organization. So within Southeast Asia, a lot of companies are starting to move into that particular space, although chatbot has been around for quite a number of years, right? A lot of improvement has been made, right, to serve the purpose of such meaning. Third of all, we also seen a lot of solution, right, expanding regards to a lot of technology companies in the recent years, such as providing low-code or no-code AI, right? That speed up the huge process and improvement in providing application and solution in using AI applications, right? And I believe in within the next 3 to 5 years, the kind of progress made in such space will be very huge, and it will across many industries. And of course, with the rise of a lot of digital transformation, advancement in machine learning, right, the increased number of businesses started incorporating a lot of AI within their processes, application within the organization. By research, a considerable number of responders to both service offerings and internal business processes, apparently these companies feel that the AI is very centric and important to the ability to develop their businesses and get ahead of their competitors. And because the demand of integrating AI is not only growing, platforms also suggesting no-code or low-code AI development grow in their numbers as well. Third, I think it's a very big news, okay, in the recent months, especially the last 6 months. A lot of people was talking about fair and ethical, AI, which is very critical important. So a lot of companies are progressively collecting a lot of data, but the using of such data, does it commands a fair and ethical usage, which is, I think, a lot of technology companies have big concern of, consumers have big concern of, right? In Singapore, if you look at in the region, especially PDPA, private data protection, becomes a very critical and important component. Every month, as I convey some conversation with IMDA, we realize that on a monthly basis, there are companies, has been fined with such kind of situation, which of data breach, right? Which is critical, in protecting data for, the consumers in the market. Including, I think today, the biggest technology companies like Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, Google, and many more are putting together fast-growing teams to tackle the ethical problems that arise from the widespread collection, analysis, and the use of massive trove of data, particularly when that data is used to train machine learning models such as AI. Failing to operationalize data and AI ethics leads to a lot of wasted resources, inefficiency in product development and deployment, and even in the ability to use data to train the models as well. For example, there's a group of engineers that spend years of working on an AI model in the hiring software, but eventually scrape the program because they couldn't figure out how to create a model that does not discriminate against women. So in that kind of situation, a fair ethical models becomes more critical, important, especially in technology companies that is developing in the AI space. Of course, lastly, I think in Singapore, having to have some conversation with IMDA and CSA, we also realize that cybersecurity becomes a very important component, right? Which a lot of things happening in the technology space, AI companies also have concern. But AI also helps a lot of companies to recover from the pandemic more efficiently. The growing uptake of AI is a rising concern for data security, and it's at the time of a cyber threats that we are facing in the digital world. A very well deployed AI can be used to counter these cyber security threats. Data collection, AI algorithms are becoming the cornerstone of the cybersecurity industry. Automated decision-making and evaluation process provide a wider range of protection from activities than legacy solution. For instance, AI can be proactive and monitor device or suspicious activities instead of relying on slowly updated malware databases. One of the main areas where AI can help cybersecurity by responding to threats almost immediately. For example, before COVID, Google listed more than 20,000 sites for having malware within their system. So what about now? While human can't check millions of websites, machine learning can. It is possible to use relevant AI solution to analyze every sites, every visits, to categorize visitors based on their threat level and deal with them accordingly. We are entering an era of hyper-complexity where all our information is interconnected, even though artificial intelligence can bring immense innovation and developments. It will be at the cost of sacrificing vast amounts of personal data and cybersecurity incidents. So these are next some of the journey that the Chamber has collected from some of the members within the organizations that are using such solution, which I very much wanted to share, right, with everybody here. So I'm talking to a close friend of mine who owns a company primarily called Design.ai, right? They are a global company, 20 years in history. Recently, they have placed their HQ in Singapore, and primarily they deals with in an AI technology solution that helps organization to better design, okay, better create PowerPoints, which are very huge data of 200 million images, audios, and videos. They are probably considered the top 3 to 5 global companies in this particular space, and they are growing in size in the market, and a lot of companies are started to use such kind of solution. With AI, another friend of mine, primarily was introduced a voice bot. I think the first experience we had for voice bot would be all the scams calls that we've been receiving for the last few years, right? Especially, in countries, I think sometimes, but perhaps from China, or Chinese-speaking kind of situation. So with AI has been a very well-established technology. I think HQ in Singapore, primarily. They have serviced banks, Singtel, M1, Lazada, and Shopee in using such voice bots to communicate. One very good example is that as an e-commerce space, especially in Lazada and Shopee, they have to engage their merchants very frequently whenever they launch a new campaign. So using humans to facilitate it can be a very daunting kind of experience and process, which I think with AI provide a good solution. They use them to expand out in the whole entire region. So Link Client, another company which I met, primarily situated in Europe, right? So we all know if you are in the B2B space looking for business clients, companies, and the most common places that you will go to was LinkedIn, right? Traditionally, a lot of people, I think, or some companies, they would use human efforts to search, connect, and then of course to message. How can we use such solution, to automate the process so that the bot, or such AI solution can take over and make it more efficiently, compared to getting humans or staff to do it. And of course, ChatGPT. Of course, one of the very good usage is to use ChatGPT, but it doesn't really take away humans, right? Primarily, most of my speech, in fact, was using ChatGPT to create, and then of course I have to make some minor amendments to it, so that it's more personalized in that manner. So ChatGPT, I think, has been very useful as I spoke to more and more organizations, and I realized that more and more people are doing it. Yesterday I was speaking to one digital marketing firms in Singapore. In the past, they use a lot of copywriters to do it. The cost is extremely very high, and having to compete in the market, their margins are getting smaller and smaller. And because with ChatGPT involvement, they started to use that, and they don't really require a lot of copywriters in the process. But of course, the editor is still very critical important, because the editors still have to go through the contents and make sure the content is suitable for customers before they launch it, on behalf of the customers, right? So, and of course, ChatGPT also provide a very good B2B solution, to expedite, some of the technology, advancement, for companies. Last week, I was talking to one particular company. They are providing a PDPA data protection kind of software, and they merge, and they work with ChatGPT-4, right, in the process of answering queries in regards to PDPA, right? Instead of, the client send an email and asking, the company or the provider in questions regards to PDPA, they can actually use a bot, connected with ChatGPT, right, and get the bot to answer most of that questions, right? And that also becomes very effective. And then it becomes also, having more smooth operations, within the organization for the tech development. So lastly, I wanted to share, especially I think for the last 12 months, the Digital Chamber of Commerce has been actively engaging a lot of companies, their staff, getting to know them, what are their challenges they face in their processes, regardless whether it's in the operation scenario, whether it's in the sales and marketing, or whether it's in the HR, or whether it's in the finance, But we also realize that a lot of individual professionals, right, in their own individual space, they do not know much about what is being available, right? The only thing they know, I think, in their most common answer is, oh, I know ChatGPT. What about the rest of other AI solutions? So the definition of talent, would it change, moving the years ahead? Let's say, for example, for a HR practitioner in an organization, they might have a degree in the HR space, but do they know what is useful in the technology space, what to use, what kind of solution to explore, how do they innovate their processes so that they make their job more efficiently? So organization has to train, but the question is that, does the organization know what is there to train? I think that becomes a new definition of talent. It's no longer of getting a degree in a university, getting to know, having experience in a particular space for 5 years, 10 years, perhaps 20 years, right? I think in a space of technology and a digital world, efficiency becomes very critical, important. So I urge, of course, many companies, to come and learn more of what is being available, in their respective departments, so that they can use the correct, innovative processes, solution in regards whether they are AI-driven or not, to make things more efficiently and to progress and to become more competitive, in today's world. So for that, I will end my speech, and thank you very much for attending this session today. Thank you.
To mark that ceremonious insight, and a big thank you as well for the opening once again, ladies and gentlemen.